Don't make me destroy you.
Alright everybody, this is an update on Pinto's Custom Blade Shop. Just wanted to show you we got all the insulation in. That was a hell of a job when you're doing it by yourself. But everything's wired, insulation is in. Some places, like down that center there, I got a double in that seam. So I insulated this sucker really good. Give you an idea how hot it's been. The other day before the insulation was put in, I came in here and according to my little temperature gauge it was 120 degrees. And after I insulated it and turned on the cooler, it was down to 75 degrees. So the insulation's working really good. Of course that 120 degrees was when the cooler was off too, but she cools down really nice now. And we got lots of insulation left over. Those are scrap pieces down there. And we got a bunch of pieces over there from the ceiling. That's the 24-inch wide stuff. And then I actually wired the breaker box all by myself. It's all done except for the main wires coming in. But it ended up with I got 12 circuits set up with one left open and available. These are the lugs from my main coming in. I'm not going to have a main circuit breaker. The house where I tie into, that'll be my main circuit breaker. But I can shut everything off with the switches, of course. So, and I got two 220s. There's a 220 right there for the grinder, and then a 220 right there for the bandsaw. And as far as I know, I did this right. I actually used a book. I got all my grounds over here on the ground bar, bus bar, or whatever you call it. All the whites up there, and all the blacks going to the circuit breaker. On the 220s, I have two blacks, actually the white and the black together, because you're supposed to have two power lines, two 110s to make 220. So anyway, that's the box. To some people that's no big deal, but to me it was a big deal because I've never done that before. And my electrician's going to check it out before we actually power up the building. And I used this book here to help me. The Ultimate Guide to Wiring. It's a very good book if anybody needs a good wiring book. It's pretty thick. Covers all kinds of stuff. Shows you how to do all kinds of stuff. Let's see, 64 is where I was working. This shows you here how to do your main box. This is actually on new circuit panels and service panels, adding a new circuit. So it's similar to what I was doing, and it helped me out. I could actually see where everything goes. Talks about different circuit breakers. I went with all 20 amp circuit breakers on the 110 outlets, and 30 amp on the 220 outlets. And then as I wired everything, I made a nice little diagram here showing where everything goes. Each circuit goes to each box, each switch. I don't have that many switches on the wall. I got that's for the outside lights there, and this is for the inside lights. Just a double box will be a double switch for east lights and west lights. I can actually shut off half the lights. I got my window blocked over there with my t-shirt. Block out some of that afternoon heat. What else can I show you? Well, this is a cool little deal that I brought home from Georgia. It belonged to my dad. Gives you the time, has an alarm clock on it, but he had it in his wood shop, and it shows you the current temperature. You can see right now it's 108 degrees in here. That's because my cooler's not on. If I turn my cooler on, you probably have a lot of background noise. And then it also shows that 20. That 20 is humidity. Let's see. Yeah, 20% humidity at 108 degrees. Last night, the humidity went up to 40% when we got some lightning and a real light rainstorm. It wasn't a storm really, it was a rain shower. But the cooler, I'll turn it on. It's just running on an extension cord because I don't have the main power yet. That's the cooler running. Did a really good job. I'm ready for sheetrock in here. That's the front doors. I gotta put a couple of pieces of trim on the inside to go around those doors. Dusty's makeshift bed there. But getting back to the sheetrock, it is ready. It is now ready for sheetrock. But I have to give myself some nailers in the corner because the guy that did the framing on this shed, he didn't give me anything to nail to on my corners as far as inside nailing. Outside it was okay, but inside I'm going to have to do a little modification so I have a nailer for the sheetrock. What else? Yeah, each corner is going to have that. Oh, this is something else I did. This other diagram right here. This shows each circuit breaker and what that circuit breaker controls. See if my camera will focus on any of that. I don't know if you guys can see that. Not really. Oh, the other thing I was going to say is that up here in the ceiling I put in an outlet for a hanging retractable extension cord. That'll go right there. And then I'm also going to put inside the wall before I sheetrock it a air line so I can put an air compressor outside and hit a switch, and I'll have air pressure coming through an air hose that'll drop down out of the ceiling on a retractable air hose system, so I could use it for cleaning tools or cleaning the floor or whatever. I mean, you can always use the air compressor. And if I do some airbrushing, you know, like for varnish or anything I put on the wood handles for the knives, I'll have air pressure in here, and I won't have to deal with the noise of the air compressor on the inside. There's my makeshift light for working at night. Like I said, everything's wired up. All we got to do now is bring in power from the house, the main house circuit breaker box. So that's about it. Next step, sheetrock. And stay tuned. Bye.